Hey, I'm wearing my DOS keyboard shirt from 2010. Not that you'll be able to tell, but I thought that might be fitting, even though this is not going to be primarily a typing stream, but I said that I wanted to go through all my home videos, and this is another one, and I'm going to see if anybody has arrived here yet. I mean, I doubt very many people will. It seems like my channel has mostly died after months of inactivity, and um, I know that what most people want is typing videos, and they do not want to hear me whining. I've lost subscribers each of the last several of these, so I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible today. Um, Okay, I've got a video here from 2002, which is the last video of me that was ever recorded, I think. Well, I believe that there was a video of both of my graduations at Cornell. I don't remember whether I um, ever recorded either of those or not. I think I might not have. Um, those were on an Ithaca public access station, and I mean, all it really was listening to the commencement and just a bunch of people walking around. So I might have appeared in those videos, but if I did, it was only for like a split second probably. So I don't know whether I even bothered to record them. I don't really have many fond memories from my commencement, but I do kind of have some fond memories about this. Um, yes, hi Wizzy. Back in the year 2002, I was in the National Honor Society in high school. Um, in both my junior high school and my high school, we had honor societies. I actually didn't get into the junior honor society because they had a stupid rule about how many activities you were supposed to be involved in. If you did not participate in, like, I don't know how many extracurricular activities it was, 5, 6, it was some ridiculous number, you were not accepted into the junior honor society regardless of how you did in your classwork. And I was in some extracurriculars, but I was not in quote unquote enough to get accepted into that. I was a little bitter about that for a while, and now I find that completely silly. Um, but um, in the senior honor society, I did get into that. They did not have such strict quotas for how many extracurriculars you needed to do. And I mean, one of the things I read when I was actually going through the college paperwork, like I bought a number of those college board magazines and stuff about what you need to do to get into college, and like what most of my yuppie peers were obsessed with was being in the most extracurricular activities, like um my my junior prom date. This was the only date I ever went on. It was 23 years ago, but she was in 12 different activities. But obviously, if you are trying to do that many things at once, you are not going to do any of them well. And what I actually read when I was getting into college from all those college board guides is that the the colleges, what they want is to have a well-rounded freshman class, not not a group of well-rounded individuals who are jacks of all trades and masters of none. What the colleges want are like a variety of freaks, people who are extremely good in a bunch of individuals who are extremely good in one thing and then put them all together and you get a well-rounded freshman class. That's what the elite colleges go after. So I was actually in the right here on that because, I mean, I was the Math League champion, I was the Spelling Bee champion, I I was the statistician for the Mensa Scrabble by Mail group. I was like heavily involved and successful in the few activities I did, which actually made me a better college candidate than the people who spread themselves too thin, being minimally involved in substantially more activities. Now, if you are interested in going to college, I guess that's some advice for you. I understand if you aren't, because obviously it didn't do a lot for me. Um, yeah, hi guys. Anyway, when I was in the senior honor society, when I was in my senior high school, I did get into that. They did not have such strong requirements for how many activities you needed to do at once. And so I did get into that. And one of the rules for the Senior Honor Society is that you had to do a couple of public service assignments a year, like 5 hours each, or maybe it was 5 hours combined. I don't remember. I know that when I was a junior, I went to the multiple sclerosis walk at Syracuse's biggest mall, which at the time was called Carousel Center. It is now called Destiny USA, and I think that it is still one of the 10 biggest malls in the US. It's like one of Syracuse's few distinctions, whatever. That was also where I participated in the written spelling bee. Yes, the written spelling bee was on like the sixth floor of a mall, the 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 sky deck. It was a very pretty view, but whatever. Um, but in addition to going to the MS walk, my second project that year was I started a website to find lost pets in the city of Syracuse. It was a GeoCities website. It was just as cheesy as you expect from a GeoCities website in 2002. I had animated GIFs, I had a guest book, I don't remember whether I had a web counter or not, but I almost always did. I'll probably see it when we see the video footage of the site here. But I Anyway, I think one of my parents, I don't remember who, probably my mom, asked me to like promote the site and email a bunch of the um, local news channels to see if anybody would be interested in doing a segment on it. And at the start of March in 2002 sometime, I appeared on WIXT Channel 9, ABC in Syracuse. It's now WSYR. I mean, it was WIXT, IX for the Roman numeral 9, and then T for television. I was on their morning show with Rick Gary and Christy Casciano. Christy Casciano now is one of the two lead anchors on their evening show. Rick Gary was primarily a radio DJ, did TV a little while, and then I think went back into radio after that. I don't think he liked TV all that much. But I did an interview with them here, and I thought I would share that, even though it's going to be ridiculously cheesy. Um, Flanner, I haven't been doing that well, but I don't want to whine as much as I did in previous videos. And hi to the rest of you, Eman, Duo Death, Rethinking Reality, Jackson, Daniel. I'm going to play this one uncut, as opposed to the Blockbuster video, which I kept interrupting rudely. Although I do have to skip like a minute and a half here because I recorded some extra stuff. But I'll play the intro and then
From WIXD News Channel 9, coverage you can count on with Rick Gary, Christy Casciano, and meteorologist Dave Longley. This is News Channel 9 Daybreak.
And then it starts at 1:48, I think. Okay.
Okay, you know, there's a feeling of hopelessness whenever a beloved pet goes missing. But now in Central New York, there is a new way to get the word out about missing pets.
It's a new website called Syracuse Pet Search, and here to tell us about it, the creator of the site, a high school student, CNS student Sean Runga. Well, welcome, first of all. Thank you for being here. And why did you decide to create this website?
About a month ago, a stray cat followed me into my house one day, and I went on almost a frantic search for its owners, but I was looking around for places to post the information, and there weren't any for free really in the area.
Oh, really? So it's so, I mean, you know, when you see them in, supermarkets and so forth, but you wanted to create something. But you also created it for a project, too, is that right?
Yes, it's serving as my National Honor Society project for CNS.
How long did it, we're looking at it right now. How long did it take you to come up with this design and all the information on it?
Maybe 6 or 7 hours.
Really? That fast?
Yeah.
Well, you're good, Sean.
You're good at it. Now, when it has been under construction, it's fully operated right now. There's, for instance, this is your entry into it about the cat that you found.
Yes.
Did you ever find the owner yet, or is that you still have another cat in your house?
No, there are still 3 cats.
3 cats. 2 of your own plus this one.
Yes.
So you have that one, and people will go to this website, then they can enter whether they have found a cat or whether they've lost a cat or a dog or a pet.
Right.
So you can do both on that.
You can put the description of the pet and other comments, so you can really put some details in there about the pet, Sean. Is it something that you really hope to continue seeing the pets reunited with their owners? And I bet that makes you feel
gratifying.
It is gratifying. I imagine it is.
I know I've lost a dog and a cat. I never.
And people are so frustrated because they don't know what to do. And sometimes we even get calls, and it's obviously hard for us, you know, to put it on the news. So having a place to go.
And a free place to go, right? This is a free service to everybody.
Sean Brona, you did a great job.
We're going to show the address for it's geocities.com, Syracuse Pet Search, right?
Right.
You've got it all. You just enter it in there. So if you found a pet or you've lost, get this thing started for Sean and get it rolling. We'll find get them reunited with their owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very valuable service. He's our pet saver.
Well, yeah. Second pet saver.
Next to you.
That's why you sent me the email, right?
Yep.
Okay, buddy. Thank you very much for coming
Sean
in.
Rona.
Good luck. All right. Thank you for watching Daybreak.
And then there was one other thing after this in this broadcast that I thought would be funny considering who my audience is that I decided to throw in here. Okay. This was in the same broadcast, and I thought it was amusing for this crowd.
We want to know the longest word made using only letters on one row of the keyboard. They say it's the word typewriter.
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 That's funny.
Try that out. What is it? People are going, what is a typewriter? Someday nobody will know what that is. We barely know now. Rod would still like to be using one out there, you know, a finger like that. Okay. We thank Sean Rona for coming on this morning. A great website for lost and found pets. Tomorrow is another Daybreak Classroom that we're going to do today, as a matter of fact. We'll show you tomorrow. It's a lot of fun. Right now, look outside. It's time for GMA. And
okay. My microphone is too quiet. Okay, I'll see if I can. I have it cranked apparently. I don't know. What's going on here? Um, a glorified Sahib Prime. I don't know Sahib Prime very well. I've talked to him a few times, but um, most of the typists, most of the great typists who really emerged like post Josh, I don't know a lot about them because I pretty much checked out at that point once my book was published. Yeah, the footage was kind of cheesy, but not as cheesy as I expected. I did not remember that Christy mispronounced my name. I am glad there is no footage of me like there's this kid Evan O'Dourney who um, won the 2007 National Spelling Bee. I actually mention him in my book because he was Michael DeRoche's classmate in Seattle. Um, but there he had a CNN interview after winning the National Spelling Bee, and the reporter mispronounced his name, and he um, kind of confronted her about that in an embarrassingly autistic way. And I'm glad to see I didn't do that there, even though she butchered mine. Um, yeah, the pet website went nowhere. I mean, I'm embarrassed um, that I even did that and decided to promote it when I don't think anybody ever went there or used that message board. It actually didn't look as bad as I was expecting it to because I was never good at web design ever. Um, I was always good at writing, but designing and graphics. I mean, there were a lot of people who were into there were a lot more people who were into video stuff on the early internet. People who made flash animations, went on Newgrounds and Something Awful and 4chan and all those image macro places that I had no interest in. I was much more aggressively normie on the GeoCities website. That actually looked nowhere near as bad as I was expecting it to. It had been a while since I'd watched that footage, even though I recorded it in 2022 or whatever from the VCR that I bought after um, whichever typing contest I won. I think it was on the Clicking Championship. I used some of the Clicking Championship money to buy a VCR because I didn't have a functioning one. Um, yeah, and I might talk about all my other websites, although I don't think you can find any of them even on the Internet Archive. Um, that guy was typing like Penguin typer. I don't remember who you're talking about. Rick Gary. Um, what do I think about the DeRoche no hand cam shadow ban from TypeEgg gritty situation? I have no idea what you're talking about. Um, Michael DeRoche got banned from TypeEgg. I mean, Cameron and I had a falling out. Um, he unfriended me on Facebook, and then I criticized him and stuff. So I mean, I'm really disconnected from that scene. I mean, I used to be on Cameron's Discord with DeRoche and Kathy and Izzy and some other people in 2017, 2018. That is so long ago, and I mean, I don't know anything that's going on in typing right now. Yes, I know who you are, Flanner. Um, I've talked to you enough on the Discord. I certainly remember you. Have I kept up with web development? I mean, I still use I still use SQL to do my databases for ranking stock car open wheel and touring car drivers for my 1,000 Greatest Driver book. Okay, how fast do you think GeoCities era Sean Rona typed? See, here's the thing. I don't really know how fast I typed then. I mean, I can tell you I um, that I first hit 100 words per minute. I thought I found another document that apparently I first hit 100 words per minute on that CPT personal touch typing site. It was just before my 10th birthday. It was the month of my 10th birthday, but I was still 9. And then I hit 108 later that summer, and then I like never used that application again once I got Windows 95. That wasn't immediately in 1995, but it was a DOS-based application. DOS-based applications, a lot of them still worked fine in Windows, but a lot of them didn't. And I think I mostly stopped using all the DOS apps whenever I got Windows 95. Now I was always pretty poor, and I only had computers as a kid because my uncle, who was the head of the the assistant to the head of the Department of Computer Science at the University of Maryland, he would always send us his old computers. So it would probably been a year or two later, 96 or 97, he would have sent the first computer I had with Windows 95 on it, and then I probably never used that typing application again. What I will tell you is that in the year 2001, my dad had a installed a typing application himself. I don't remember what it was called, but it seemed to max out at 199 words per minute. I thought nobody could ever type faster than 199 words per minute. So if you ever, at least I assumed, if you ever exceeded 200 words per minute, it marked the score as 199 because I got 199 several times. So I obviously improved a lot, and most of my substantial gains were probably made between the age of 10 and the age of 16. But I was not actively practicing. There were no typing games on the internet. I mean, I don't think even Typing Zone and Typer A started until 2002, and I did not know those existed until 2009. Um, okay. I know what Type GG is, and I know Keymash. I remember both of those for when they came out during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic. I was still writing my book then. I mentioned both Type GG and Keymash in my book. Oh, oh, Type Racer owns Keymash now? That was prudent of them. Um, Yeah, type GG. Okay, GG as in good game, right. I was never into memes and internet slash gamer culture, so a lot of these abbreviations, like almost everything past the like LOL era, I am sometimes slow on the uptake with. Um yeah, it doesn't surprise me that that's bigger if Type Racer bought the other one because um obviously Type Racer will want to not let their competition grow too big as most companies usually do when they buy things out. Obviously there are exceptions. When Facebook bought out Instagram, obviously they wanted to promote both and it worked, but I know from my own research in my typing book that um, when whichever typewriter company bought out whichever other typewriter company, uh, uh, that man, I'm forgetting a lot of my own research from just 4 or 5 years ago. But when one of the typewriter companies bought the other, the right. The Union Typewriter Company was controlled by Wyckoff, Siemens, and Benedict, which were the owners of um, the original the Remington typewriter, and Calligraph was the rival typewriter. The first famous typing contest was in 1888 between the Remington and the Calligraph, and like all the five major typewriter brands of the late 1800s merged together in the Union Typewriter company, and because Wyckoff, Siemens, and Benedict the controlled the company, which was also called the Typewriter Trust. That basically meant all the other competitors to Remington went out of business fast. Um, Type Racer is aiming towards a more educational target audience right now. Yeah, I mean, Nitro Type showed where it was at, I guess. Um, the new devs for Type Racer aren't focused on the community and don't want to be involved because of the John situation. I don't even know what the John situation is. Um, I guess I regret making John a Type Racer moderator. I was the person who recommended him. Um, so most of the really fast people are on Type GG now and not so much on Type Racer. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, I looked at the modern Type Racer interface and I hate it. I mean, it's like the enshittification of everything. But I really liked Alex Epstein. I admired him a lot, the creator of Type Racer. I interviewed him for my book. We had a lot of we had a lot of private email conversations with each other. I liked him a lot. I didn't really connect as much with the new management, and the site looks worse, and I get why other people are moving away from it. Um, yeah, I went live for the first time on Sunday, but hardly anybody noticed. Well, for the first time in months on Sunday, but hardly anybody noticed because I guess it was so late in the evening, or it had been like months in the past, and it didn't get picked up by the algorithm. I think there were a couple of things I said that may have had the algorithm not want to blast it. But I uploaded a video that I recorded at Blockbuster Video in 1993. I'm going to go through the rest of my home videos, and this was the last of them chronologically, but there were others before this. Um, I don't I don't really want to type anymore, but okay, I'll humor you. I'll humor you with a couple. Um, no, I'm not doing well at all. Um, yes, hi, so word. I definitely remember you from quoting you in my book. Um, okay. I mean, I talked a bit. I mean, my mom is my mom is in a nursing home. I assume you all remember that. And she got forced in a nursing home for hoarding. I I've been living with her. I tried to get her to control the hoarding, and every time I did, I told her she should throw something out. She'd like scream at me. Well, how about if I threw the computer out? To be honest, I'm not sure I'd care all that much if I finish with my current book. I'm writing a second book ranking the top 1,000 drivers in auto racing history. That's the main thing I've been doing, and that's why I haven't been so active on YouTube. I relaunched my Substack for my um, racing blog, seanrona.substack.com, and I've been doing like daily profiles of drivers for my book, which I think I will finish in 2028. And every year I've been doing a list ranking the top 200 drivers, and I've been going through one series at a time. I did the 16 NASCAR drivers I'm going to include last week. I'm going to do the IndyCar drivers this weekend probably. Um, if any of you want to subscribe to that, I mean, I don't expect any of you to pay, but if any of it, I do write a lot of non-racing content on there, a lot of personal content about my life and stuff. So if anybody of you want to subscribe to that, that would be cool. Um, but yes, my mom got sent to a nursing home. I'm trying to get her out. I was told that I would have to have a ramp constructed. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And also, one of the other things, I mean, earlier this year, the village of North Syracuse threatened to condemn my house unless I cleared out a lot of the hoarding. I had some people help me do that. I rented a dumpster myself, and they paid to have a dumpster rented for me, and I had some people help clear it out, and I cleared it out to the village of North Syracuse's satisfaction. But there are still issues, like there is a tree that got tangled up my in my roof, and it caused a roof leak. I've had it for like years. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how serious it was. I didn't know. I grew up in apartments. I was not used to house living. I never wanted a house. My mom wanted a house because she didn't want a landlord telling her what to do, and I mean that makes sense. I totally get that, but I was not I'm probably like dyspraxic or something. I've never been good at anything with my hands except typing, so I'm totally overwhelmed. I'm trying to get mom out of the nursing home. There are people who are trying to force her into the dementia ward. I mean, I think maybe she has a little dementia, but she definitely improved. She had a stroke. I did not know she had a stroke until she went into the hospital. She went into the hospital the day before New Year's Eve last year. She had fallen about like 15 times in over throughout the year before that, but um anyway, she got forced into the nursing home against her will. I was trying to fight them against that because my mom had told me like numerous times, dating back to the 90s, that she'd rather be dead in a nursing home than and I took that very seriously. So I was trying to argue with the people at St. Joseph's Hospital, and they would not let me see her, and then forced her into the nursing home at Van Dyne on the south side of Syracuse. They have been letting me see her at Van Dyne. I try to go like 3 times a week. I still don't know how to drive. I take buses down there, and I have to do a switch at the transfer hub at downtown Syracuse. It's like ironic for me to be like becoming one of the best auto racing analysts slash historians and not knowing how to drive. And I mean, like I said in my at the end of my last video, I guess it's how like Roger Ebert was one of the best ever film critics, and the movies he made were ridiculous schlock. So I guess that sort of thing can happen, but um, but yeah. So I had to get an estimate on my roof, and it's going to, and I just received. I've had one of my high school classmates who also still lives in the Syracuse area helping me, but I mean I had an estimate, and um $25,400. I mean, I have gotten out of the hole a little bit because okay, in addition to my Substack, and I am making a little money from my Substack, from my paid subscribers, I am making almost $1,000. And I also have some work from sports data research. I mean, I don't know how many of you know this, but I was once quoted in an interview for 538 when that was a site. What speed typing has to do with NBA history? Okay, like in the summer between the year I graduated from I got my bachelor's at Cornell, and I had my 1 year master's program. I launched this, racedatabase.com, where I archived the entire history of Formula One, NASCAR, IndyCar back to 1979, as well as all the Indy 500s prior to that, and a bunch of other things. I stopped working on it in 2015 because I knew at that point it had stopped being fun archiving things, especially when all that information was available elsewhere anyway. And I knew that I wasn't going to make enough money to justify the amount of time I spent on it. But when I was flat broke in the late 2000s, early 2010s during the recession, I mean in the year 2008, I did get a job not too far after graduation with a statistical consulting company that basically committed academic fraud. That's what the job was. They wrote methodologies and results sections for grad students' dissertations. It was basically it was basically inserting the work that a bunch of consultants did for them, and then it was going to be inserted into all these college students' papers as if it was their own work. I don't know how many people did it like that, or how many people just used the data and rewrote it. I imagine it was like AI, where like all of us employees were just writing these people's papers. And I mean, there was so much corruption about this company. The head of this company was being investigated for fraud and stuff. I talked about it in my book. And the head of the company was pretending his wife was running the company when he was being investigated for fraud. So anyway, I quit this company in November of 2009, which is almost exactly when unemployment was peaking during the Great Recession. The recession was technically quote unquote over, but it wasn't over. You can argue it never really ended. But and I had racked up a lot of credit card debt while I was at Cornell and the year after that. And how do I super chat? I don't think I even offer that as an option, but maybe I should if I'm going to get more engagement than I did last time. Okay, what did I do in my statistics program? Okay, I'll talk about that later. But I anyway, so I quit this job just as unemployment was peaking, and it ruined me. I never got a true professional job exactly again. But and no joke, I entered the Ultimate Typing Championship in 2010 because I wanted to raise money to declare bankruptcy. That's why I did it, and I regretted it for quite some time. I got the money I needed to declare bankruptcy, and I did it because I knew I was almost certain to win, especially after Jelani Nelson dropped out and then Dan Chen dropped out. There was no doubt I was going to beat anybody if it wasn't them. Um, but after I had all these people calling me a school shooter and stuff, it really pissed me off and fucked me up. Um, but anyway, so when I was broke, I kept trying to sell racedatabase.com to people to see if anybody was interested. I contacted CBS's sports site, which at the time had a lot less auto racing detail on it, and I contacted ESPN and to see if they'd buy it because they had a lot less auto racing detail on their site. I contacted a lot of the other. I contacted Sports Reference, the owner of the Baseball Reference site. I contacted Racing Reference and a bunch of the other sites to see if any of them would be interested in buying it. Nobody was interested in buying it. But Sports Reference was interested in working with me, especially knowing that how fast a typist I was. They were very interested in taking me on. So I ended up entering a lot of sports statistics for them. I entered the box scores for all the NBA games from like 1979 to 1984 or something before they fired me in 2014 or whatever. They just said they didn't have any more work. Maybe they were already trying to automate it or something. Um, but I entered a bunch of NBA box scores for them. I entered data from a bunch of college football rosters, I think, and I entered 1 year of NFL play-by-plays for 1998. And that led me to getting interviewed for this 538 article by Carl Bialik back in 2014. And what speed typing has to do with NBA history, you can Google that and you'll still find it. It might be deleted soon because I know that 538 shut down and they may remove all the articles. But um, my favorite part of the Bucks job, I don't know what you mean by that. Um, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about NBA history. Like I had never heard of Bernard King, and I was glad to see him get in the Hall of Fame after that. Once I realized how good he was, and he was like one of the most dominant players for a while during that period I was archiving. I learned some stuff. Um, but anyway, So I've had dribs and drabs of entering sports data since then, and I got contacted from a guy who had connections to Sports Reference at Sports Data Research, and he's been having me enter college basketball results for um, every NCAA team in the 20th century going up to the 1998-1999 season. So I have that. I also have a gig doing various assignments for a serial tech entrepreneur who is also on the top 100 on the Typing Zone all-time list. The person I knew from competitive typing who might be the most successful person I know other than Jelani Nelson. Um, and I have the Substack, and I'm still doing the Roto Baller work, writing columns to help fantasy sports players and gamblers make projections for NASCAR races. I've done like 1,200 articles with them. Now you combine all these things, and it's still like part part time. I could push it up to 40 hours a week if I wanted to, but I still wanna visit my mom 3 times a week, and I mean it takes me an hour and a half bus ride, 2 trips to visit her, and then coming back likewise. So it pretty much uses up most of the day, but I still want to see her those days and then work the other days between my book research, my NASCAR columns. The NASCAR season is over, so there won't be any NASCAR columns until February, and my other work. But even though I'm now making enough so I can pay my regular bills again, I had to pick up my mom's mortgage payment because the nursing home, which she got forced into, I still want to get her out. But I mean that Medicaid takes all but $50 from her Social Security account, so I mean I have to cover the mortgage that was being automatically deducted from there, and that's fine. I haven't missed a payment yet, but and I've still made my payments for my power and internet and phone. And I mean, I use a lot less electricity than when my mom was here because my mom would have the heat up. Her, she lost a lot of body heat constantly. She had the heat up to 83 all the time. I mean, I certainly don't do that. So I mean, my power bills have been a lot less. I've also gotten like far less in the way of groceries. So I mean, I don't need a lot of money to like subsist, but obviously I don't know where $25,400 is coming from to fix the roof, and I don't think anybody's going to give me a loan because I am still in default from various creditors. Um, yeah, I mean, I entered basketball data for every NBA team, so I'm sure I entered the Milwaukee Bucks games. I mean, I certainly don't remember who all the Milwaukee Bucks players from the early 80s are, but oh yeah, typegg.io. I mean, even though I'm writing these gambling columns, I really don't like the gambling boom, and I mean, I don't know what I think about gambling one versus ones for typing, but do I think that would net significant financial gain? No, because there's no money in the typing community. Like even John hasn't gone viral. You get like these 30th place players in like the really popular games like Minecraft or whatever who can become millionaires from streaming, but I mean even if Josh is like on top for longer than I was, he will never be as famous as me because I don't think he'll ever go viral in the same way. I mean, it's utterly random what does go viral or what does blow up. Um, how it's legal to force someone into a nursing home. Yeah, Adult Protective Services took over her case because I guess they decided I was incompetent at taking care of her. They view me as like an Asmongold type or something. And I mean, there are more similarities than I wish to admit, but um, have I covered sports betting at all? I mean, No, not really. Besides these columns that I'm writing, I mean, I mean that all happened because, all right, I listen to a lot of podcasts. That's one of my biggest hobbies now, listening to podcasts. I very frequently enter data while listening to podcasts. And one of the podcasts I liked listening to a lot was the Scene Vault, which I believe I mentioned um, on one of my Maladroit Millennial videos. It's two ex-writers for a um, defunct NASCAR newspaper from the 70s to the 2000s called the NASCAR Winston Cup Scene. Um, Rick Houston, who was the editor for the second tier series, which was then called the Bush series, is now called the Xfinity series, hosted that podcast, and I asked him for ideas for things I could do to like break into the NASCAR media sphere, and he recommended these fantasy sports sites. But I mean, I get like almost nothing from that. It's like $2 a column. I'm still doing it because obviously I need the money, and it could lead somewhere. But um, how fast do I think I could name 100 people? I don't know. I don't talk nearly as fast as I type. Um, some of Rocket's views have got more views than your Ultimate Typing Championship video. Yeah, yeah. He's the most famous typist on TikTok for sure. I'm still probably the most famous typist on YouTube. I don't know whether YouTube or TikTok is the bigger platform now. It probably depends on the platform. Like, I'm the most famous typist among millennials, I have to be, and he's probably the most famous typist among Zoomers. Um, TikTok is bigger? Okay. I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, I used to look up all um, the popularity of websites on Alexa when that was a thing, but I mean, now I don't even know where people go to look up how popular websites are. I mean, I know it was always Google first, Facebook second, YouTube third, and then I think YouTube overtook Facebook. But um, yeah, and the thing with TikTok videos is they replay over and over and over. So I mean, if you just leave something running like in the background, if you like go to the kitchen to get some food or something and you leave something running, does it show up as like does this 5 replays show up as 5 views? I mean, that's a great way to inflate view counts. Um, I like Rocket. Rocket is cool. I've talked to him. I like him. I like Josh too. I'm happy. I'm happy those guys are the kind of people who took over my records. Um, I was annoyed in the clicking championship in 2019 when Czech beat me because Bailey and some others were taunting me and got in my head, and I think that was one of the things that helped me lose because those people got in my head. I was still faster than Czech then on Type Racer, barely, I think. He obviously overtook me the next year. Um, yeah, I guess this one got a bigger boost because I updated recently. Bailey is a toxic guy. I mean, I've come around on Bailey. I don't I don't dislike Bailey as much as I once did. I'm cool with him now, but I'm still glad that Josh is dominating because I like him more. Um, okay. Oh yes, somebody asked me earlier about what I did in my statistics program. I was in a 1 year applied statistics program. I got a Master of Professional Studies in Applied Statistics in 2007, 2008. Maybe I shouldn't have gone. Maybe I would have gotten a steadier job if I'd graduated in 2007 than in 2008 because obviously the economy was substantially worse in 2008. But um, we had a theoretical statistics I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest. It did not have as much of an impact on me as I thought it would. Um, and I know I know I mentioned in a scientific paper. I barely remember any of that. It's like a blur to me. Um, Josh Bungay. I entered. That's not his name. I was thinking of Josh, the typist. John Bungay was the head of the applied statistics program, and I'm in one of his papers. I did research for one of his papers, and I can't even find it now. Oh, Google Scholar. I'm mentioned in one of these papers. Um, hmm, I guess it's paywalled. All right. We thank Sean Rona who wrote the C2 statistics simulation system in SAS-U for his Cornell MPS degree project. I did it was it was a biology paper. John Bungay was also a biology professor. I was not into biology at all. I did not take a biology course in college at all. I mean, I had three science courses, I think. I took two astronomy courses, and I took one meteorology course. Meteorology was always my favorite science when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, I wanted to be a meteorologist, a TV weatherman when I grew up. That same station, News Channel 9, that had that broadcast I just showed you, their head meteorologist at the time, who did the 5 and 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock newscast, Dave Eichhorn, was the head weatherman at the time. And I, like, idolized that guy. Like, I would constantly watch the Weather Channel as a kid, especially when they were doing tropical updates. Like, there was a while I memorized all the tropical storm and hurricane names every year, and I was like obsessed. And then when I was in earth science in eighth grade and I got like a C on a meteorology test, I just like flat decided I guess I'm not good enough, and then I just gave up. I don't know. It but I'm glad I didn't do that because as TV and like mainstream culture degraded so much, like I kept watching the weather reports on Channel 9, and and they just kept getting stupider and stupider. Like they were always talking about temperature is getting better and better, as if warmer weather was intrinsically better, even if it was unseasonably warm. In an era of global warming, for people to say like any warmer temperature is good, even if it's not seasonal, or talking about the threat of rain, and I don't know. It's so obnoxious and fake and insincere and smarmy, and I'm glad I did not become a TV weatherman. Um, but but yeah, meteorology and astronomy were the two sciences I was into. I also loved astronomy as a kid, and I always did way better on my astronomy test than my meteorology test. I always aced my astronomy test. It was also my best science, probably. So when I went to Cornell, I um I took one meteorology class and bombed it. I got a C minus, and I got two and I took two astronomy courses, the intro astronomy courses, 101 and 103, and one of them was with Stephen Squires, and that was freaking cool. Stephen Squires was maybe the most famous professor on campus when I was there. He was the James A. Weeks Professor of Physical Sciences at Cornell University. His research area is on planetary sciences. He ran the Mars rover mission in the 2000s, and every day when I was in his class, he would show us pictures pictures from Mars that day before class. That was awesome. That was like one of the few memories from Cornell that I liked. It was not worth the amount of money I spent on it, the $100,000 in student loans. It was not worth that. But I got a rush in that class. I loved it. Um, but and and Bill Nye guest lectured both of my astronomy classes too. Like he filled in for my first professor Terry Herder in the first class and Stephen Squires in the second class. But um I didn't like him. I didn't like him as a professor. He he was smarmy, he was too jokey, he didn't seem to take anything seriously. I mean, I didn't like Bill Nye's show when I was a kid even. I watched all the PBS kids shows and it wasn't one of the ones I liked. Um, the kids science show on PBS that was way better was 321 Contact. That was way better than Bill Nye, and I think Newton's Apple was better too. And Square One Television, their math show, I also liked that better. And there were a bunch of things. I liked Sesame Street. I liked Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I even liked Barney. I liked all these things more than Bill Nye. I saw Bill Nye then and now as basically just a Weird Al Yankovic imitator and a much lamer one like, and this is Neil Old with Rocking in the Tree World or something. I mean, that's basically the kind of thing he would do, and it was not as funny as he thought it was. Much funnier than when Weird Al did it, and he was more charismatic. And Bill Nye just said some things that were wrong, like he said 300 cubed was 10 million or something in one of my classes. And I'm like, that's 27 million. How do you not? I don't know. I was just not impressed with Bill Nye seeing him up in person, and I wish my regular professors had been there that day. Um. Anyway, all right. I've got to read a lot of these comments now. Um. What do I think about the Flanner matchup against me? How do I think that would go on Type Racer Private Track, and how much money would you need to make that one versus one a reality? I mean, all right, if people were actually interested in donating to live streams where I typed, I would think about it. But I mean, I don't really want to type competitively unless I'm making content. I want to spend like my offline content making my auto racing book. And I mean, I want to make auto racing videos too, but um I just didn't think people would be interested in racing videos. That's kind of like all I want to talk about now. I didn't think people would be interested, and I don't know. People weren't that interested in the Maldrake Millennial videos, and I thought there was too much work to for the how little I got out of them. Um, First King was Sean. Nothing will change that. I mean, from my perspective, um, Eric Chung was before me. Dan Chen was before me. Jelani Nelson was before me, and that's Noah Horn was before me, and that's just in the online era. I mean, the first king was Frank McGurran in 1888, obviously, and I think there were typing contests before that, although I was unable to find out who won any typing contest prior to 1888 when I was researching. My PFP looks like the Some Girls album cover by the Rolling Stones. I mean, alright. I'm sure I've seen it, but I mean, I don't think I look like any of those people. Oh, you weren't talking to me. Um, um, Barbara Blackburn. I mean, I did not agree with how hard Carl Jobst went after her. I have more respect for her than Carl did, and obviously Carl himself is now disgraced. I did follow that a little bit. Because I had a bit of a connection to Carl, I did sometimes watch his videos, and I know he embarrassed himself with his lawsuit, and he went too far on Barbara. She was she was a very introverted person. I mean, she was kind of nerdy and awkward herself in a different way than I was, because obviously she was more of like an uptight church lady, and I get the sense that she never watched an episode of David Letterman. She was not the type. She was too straight-laced for that. And at the time, Letterman was considered one of culture's biggest edgelords. I mean, everything gets edgier and edgier with each generation since, so now Letterman seems tame. But at the time, he was like the edgiest thing on television, and I'm sure she would not have approved of his show. And I mean, she even threatened to sue him, but she gave up on that and decided not to. But she did decide she didn't want to be a public figure after that. I feel for her a lot because I feel like the way Letterman treated her was similar to the way I was treated by a lot of the YouTube comment sections. So I'm more positive on Barbara than a lot of people are. Do I think she was an overrated typist? Yes. Do I think that she shouldn't have been like the only typist who boomers have heard of? Yes. I mean, I don't think she was the best typist of the television era. Ron Mingo was better than her. Cortez Peters Jr. was better than her. But I have more respect for Barbara than I think a lot of younger people do. Um, at one point, I was considering doing research under my supervisor in bioinformatics, but I don't think in this climate that graduate studies are worth pursuing. Um, I mean, if you can get, if you can get some sort of stipend, if you can get paid for your grad school, then it's probably still worth it. But yeah, usually you have to take out huge loans for grad school. I mean, there are more and more places that let you have that let you go to undergrad for free. Like, I didn't know this, but at the time I was preparing for college, Princeton apparently had already offered free tuition to anyone. They started that in 2001 or something. They were the first Ivy League to do it. I didn't know that. I don't think I could have gotten into Princeton because Princeton had higher standards than Cornell. I was a little below average for Cornell. My SAT score was above the 25th percentile, but below the 50th percentile for Cornell. And Cornell had it had the largest student body, and it typically had the lowest standards to get in the Ivy League. I don't think I could have gotten into Princeton, but man, I was so mad when the year after I got out of Cornell, it was announced that Cornell would be offering free tuition to anybody with anybody in families with less than $75,000 a year. I was frigging pissed. I was so pissed. Um, I mean, almost 20 years ago now, over it now, but now all the Ivy Leagues offer free tuition. So if you can get if you can get into an Ivy League, it's worth it because it's free now, and if your grades are good enough, then like most state schools would probably be free for you as well. So it can still be worth it for that. But for grad school, yeah, grad school you usually have to pay a lot pay a lot in loans, and that might not be worth it, especially since it's almost impossible to predict, especially with AI, what jobs will exist in 5 years, what jobs won't exist. Um, all right, eight values test. Oh, is that the political thing I think I have before? I mean, I know what I am. I've made no secret about it. I'm an economic leftist and a social centrist. I've made no secret about that. Do I watch Max Velocity? Oh, I have no idea what that is. Um, um, have I seen some bloopers of weather people? Probably, but I don't really remember anything. Um, have I ever pursued to become a professor? I mean, way too competitive. There are way too many people going for too few jobs. I mean, I know that college enrollments are starting to decline from my understanding, but still, the number of qualified people relative to the number of professors, I mean, and I've been out of it for 20 years, and I would have had to have a lot more theoretical work, and they'd be going for people who didn't have rusty skills. And I mean, it is harder to get hired as a professor as a white male because obviously they want to equalize their because obviously previous generations were disproportionately white male. That means if you want things to be equal now, you basically have to discriminate against the current generation to make up for the previous advantages of the previous generation. So I mean, I don't I don't hate that as much as some people do. I get it, but it can be annoying. I know I no nobody would hire me as a professor. I mean, I'm I especially after like 15 years of not having a professional job, I'm so damaged goods. But um, Bill Nye always did feel weird to me. Yeah, he wasn't he wasn't really a scientist. He was a science presenter. I mean, I'm old enough to remember those older PBS shows, and I'm old enough to remember that Newton's Apple and especially 321 Contact. Those are better PBS shows. Um, Imagine how awesome the content would be if you had to hit a clip against Flaneur in the private track. I mean, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that tonight, but maybe in a couple days. Who's your favorite typist, Sean? From the olden days, I most admire Margaret Owen. Um, from the modern era, I most admire Jelani Nelson. I got crazy potential to go viral on TikTok or Instagram. I don't think so. I'm too old for TikTok, right? I mean, it's not a millennial platform. It's a Zoomer platform. I know there are a lot of Zoomers who look up to me, but I don't know. I think this is where I should be. This is the best fit for me. Um I super F with the social commentary you gave in those maladroit millennial videos. Yeah, I enjoyed writing them too. They just got like fewer views and less mundane typing content over 30 seconds. Doing a video with Sean would be cool if you came back. I think people would pay if you did paid subscriptions or super chats or something. Yeah, I mean, I I've thought about like sorts of content I could make. I don't love making typing content. I guess I'd still do it if people would if people would pay me. I mean, I have tons of thoughts about things I'd want to make constantly. I mean, I've had thoughts about racing videos. I've thought about making videos where I don't know if any of these people would talk to me, but like interviewing the people from viral memes from 20 years ago is something I thought might be interesting. I don't know if any of these people would talk to me, but I mean, I kind of went viral myself, and I feel a sort of connection to like some of these people from the old school internet who I didn't know. Tazon Day, the chocolate rain guy, actually followed me on Twitter for a while. That was weird. Um, Thoughts on the idea of people paying you $5 per 1v1 on Type Racer? I mean, I'd consider it. Beat my voila. Um, do you have any pets? I still do have one. I still do have one cat, Mitty. Um, my mom got two cats in 2019, and I still have one of them here. The other one died. Um, the Ivy Leagues are dominated by Nepo babies, from what I've heard. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a weird combination of I don't know, a third Nepo babies, third a third nerds, and like a third um children and descendants of like royalty and government officials in foreign countries. Um, My favorite Zoomer typist. I mean, I don't know the Zoomer typists that well. But I mean, I like Josh and Rocket, same as everybody else. Thoughts on the upcoming 1v1 versus Gizmo and Shizuko on Christmas Eve? I'm sorry, I don't really know either of you very well. I mean, I still remember Flaneur and Typo Z and those guys, but like the Flaneur Typo Z era, that was like the last era of people I like really remember because I haven't spent much time on the um typing discords. I still check my name every day, but I mean there isn't much. Do I still use the DOS keyboard? No, right now I'm using a chintzy Amazon keyboard. Hop on hop on Type GG. Okay, fine. Oh, and I entered typegg.com and I was told that it was .io. Okay. Let me close all these other things. So um, um my it's not too much to process. Oh, right. Do I even still have an account here? Oh, email. I don't know. Oh, did it get marked as spam because of the weird .io? Huh. Seriously, did I use a different email address? Hmm. Alright, maybe I used a different email address. Okay, I guess I didn't have that account. Um, oh, it's a completely new site, so your account isn't saved. Okay. Yes, hi ZB Tech. All right. Oh, verify your Type GG email. All right. Okay. I'm not gonna be very good. It's been years. I also think this is a piece of crap keyboard. I hate these things that just have icons on them. 'Cause I don't know like where to go to next for next race. Um, please turn down the computer volume. All right. Um, okay. It, I'm using the same. I'm using the same mic, I think, for my voice and the keyboard. I can lower the audio input capture, but then it'll be quieter. I'm gonna be careful. It's been years. If you go hit the wrench thing after you refresh erase. Alright. Alright. Turn off the... I hate that everything has icons now and everything has less text. This is a real millennial zoomer divide. Like finding... Okay, settings. No, that doesn't... These are also... I wish they were longer, too. Especially building up after a couple years of inactivity here. Okay, where is this thing that I'm supposed to be looking at? I don't see it. Just mute the tab. It's to the right of the text box. Oh, oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I've got my cord in front of the monitor. I might have to move that. Because that's making it harder. I couldn't tell that was pool. Alright, I might have to move that. Yeah, I found it. I'm so sick of icons. I prefer text. That's why I'm a better writer than designer. Oh, man. Wait, guess 12,006? Am I not logged in? I mean, I'm glad I wasn't logged in if, like... How do I tell if I'm logged in? Okay, I'm logged in. It just had me listed as a guest. Even this isn't long. Ugh. Wow. I'm like 3,000th now. Obviously, there's no way I could even compete with Flanner, at least yet. Admittedly, that comma enter thing really confused me at first. when I get done with test, retry upload button. There are quotes that range up to 10 kc. Oh, 10,000 characters. All right. Um, Mute the tab. I don't know how to mute a tab. Volume icon next to the tab name. I don't see it. Oh, right. Okay. This is not as bad. All right. I'm not used to typing games with this many enters, though. That is new for me. And that does make this a lot more complicated and a lot slower. Possible I need to clip my nails too. A lot of times when I suck, that's usually it, because I... That was not much better. Jason Miller, from the auto racing Discord. I was not expecting a non-typing person. All right. Yeah, I like the site. Oh, right. I did see that there were some of my quotes on there. I think I'll go do my quotes. I can't believe I can't believe DeRoche actually uploaded this himself. I mean, I thought he'd have a problem with some of the stuff I was writing about him, but he didn't. Yeah, I know, Jason. You've gotta go to bed. You have much more of a life than I do. Is there a list of quotes? I think it'd be cool to do all my quotes. What do I think about the DeRoche situation? I don't know what the DeRoche situation is. Um, a little melodramatic, and no, I don't want to amputate my hands, but yeah, I'm not surprised Ike was better than me now, because I only barely beat him for second in 2020, and obviously he's at a peak age and I'm not. I mean, I know that people peak at people peak cognitively at about age 25 or something. Um, okay, there is a okay quotes. Okay, okay. Um, I kind of feel this quote should have some numbers in it. Even, well, if I knew that it was going to be added to a site, I might have put some. I don't even remember half my book. I think the main thing I'm noticing is that I'm correcting a lot slower than I used to. I think my correction time has gotten a lot slower than my typing has. This is also not a good keyboard. But I don't blame the keyboard, I know I've regressed. This would have been kick-ass in 2010. I didn't know there was a Type GG Discord. Yeah, yeah, maybe I should. I mean, I go in and out of the Type Racer and Monkey Type ones too. I mean, I still search my names. Right, I'm not sure I knew there was a Type GG one. Um, I mean, it always took me a while to warm up anyway. I'm doing better now, obviously. I don't even remember writing that, but um, I mean, I was always slower the first 10 minutes than I was later on. I always had like a slow build to whenever I peaked, and then I would stay stronger for longer. That's nothing new. That's why I always did 50 races a day on Type Racer when I did Type Racer, because for me it took like a half hour, and that was enough time for me to build up speed and then get off before I lose speed. Um, well, this won't be a 170. Actually, it almost could have been. Not too far off. Um, which was that I want to do all of mine once. All right. I know there are a lot of people who think that that me arguing this is total bullshit. I know there was this one guy who put up an elaborate video about the crackpot theory of Sean Roner or something. That really demoralized me for a while and made me not want to make content for a while. Alright. What kind of music do you like? I grew up on classic rock, and I listened to classic rock radio constantly as a kid. Um, I was always like 20 years behind the times on everything. I finally started getting into alternative properly around like the years I just got out of um, Cornell, around the times of the Ultimate Typing Championship. That's when I was really getting into alternative properly. And there was a time when one time I decided to go on the site that summarizes all music critics lists, acclaimedmusic.net. There are a bunch of these, and I've enjoyed going on there, and rateyourmusic.com and a lot of other critic sites. I don't feel like I'm nearly informed enough to um, I don't feel informed enough to talk about music, especially because I never got into the file sharing era or something. I was the kind of person who believed file sharing was stealing. So like I went to Cornell and it seemed like every other student knew like 300 indie albums already, and I just had nothing to talk about with anyone because I didn't believe in file sharing. Um, Now, of course, I use YouTube and Spotify like anybody else, but there was one time I went on there feeling I needed to educate myself, and I listened to the top 3,000 or something songs, so I can talk about a lot more um, things than I used to, but I'm still like always behind the times. Um, 5 a.m. for you, so you're in England. 12:30 here. Um, all right. right, there was somebody who wanted me to do one of their quotes. I'm going to do one of mine, and then I'll do one of theirs too. Um, Dvorak's book is great, by the way, even though it's really boring. I mean, my main criticism with it is that it's boring, but he really did understand a lot about the mechanics of typing, much more than the actual typists did. I still think he's wrong about the keyboard, but there was a lot of interesting stuff in his book. He was kind of insufferably pretentious, but there is still a lot of good stuff in the book. This is kind of how fast I was in 2010, I'd say. Of course, this was still a lead in 2010, and only Jelani Nelson at that time could compete. Jelani did not really get any faster than that because he was doing more important stuff, his MIT research, and honestly, I kind of idolize and envy him in some ways. Ron Mingo really needs more attention than he gets. I like him much more than Barbara Blackburn, and I am a Blackburn defender, as I said. There's a factual error in here. He did not appear on The Muppet Show. The footage I get... there was some footage with him with a Muppet-looking creature. I thought he was on The Muppet Show, but he was actually on a San Francisco public access show called Dudley's Diner. I thought that was a segment on The Muppet Show, but it wasn't. It was a very Muppet-looking creature he was interacting with, so it was an easy mistake to make, but that's a factual error. Oh wait, I already did that one. Okay. It's weird. The quotes Michael chose were not the ones I probably would have chose. Well, he chose things probably based on how interesting they were to type. Most of these things were not the things I enjoyed writing the most. Wow, no errors. All right. Oh yeah, that's going to be hard to type. I did enjoy writing this. Yeah, this might be the hardest one on the site. Ma Bell was AT&T, if you don't know that reference. Um... 9.2 hex coding, alright. Euger and voila, alright, I'll... Kind of fun, though. What's the highest on that? Josh 160 is what I'm going to guess. Where's the... I still don't know where to find the list. Oh. I want to do this one more time. Alright, that's probably about as good as I can do on that. Alright. I don't think this is as hard as it looks, actually. It's silly. It's very silly, the alliteration. Wow, no errors. 211? No, I don't think I can. No. No, I don't think I mean, I don't think I'm going to be as fast as I was 10 or 15 years ago, but I was proud to get no errors on that. What is this hex coding thing? Um, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. There was a time when even I grinded quotes a lot when I was ghosting on Type Racer. I grinded a lot back then, but uh, just tell me what to search for, DR, for the hex coding. How long is this? I'll do the whole thing, but this'll be the last one, I think. Yeah, okay, sure. This has got to be the hardest thing on the site, but it's not really a quote, is it? Well, it might be a quote. Maybe these are convert to letters. Oh, I thought it was Alf. I do think Flanner would steamroll me at anything now. I mean, people know I enjoy these really weird ones more than the simple ones anyone can blast through. I mean, the only time I beat Czech in 2020 was the weird one with the intentionally mistranscribed things, where I got 100 and Czech got 72. I do think this is a silly thing to upload, whoever did it. I bet this is another Daroche. At least, hopefully, this will get my watch hours up, so maybe I could potentially do ads again. I mean, I fell below the watch hours, which is understandable because I was not doing much and I'm yesterday's news. I'm definitely stopping after this, but I'm still going to go through it all and then I will talk to people and then maybe I will do that 8 values thing. Maybe I will stop at the enter. Yeah, I guess I'll stop at the enter. Because I've already been going on a while. $74, alright. I don't have a I don't have a problem I don't have a problem with typing that. I mean, there are too many things I would rather be doing for that to be worth it, but um it's fine. Um my most miserable typing experiences honestly tended to be grinding for speed on short quotes. That was what I enjoyed doing least. I enjoyed typing faster than I am capable of doing to try to set records to be far less enjoyable than something like that where you can be plotting or methodical. Um, my top speed on Type Racer, I think I got like a 274 once, and then I failed the CAPTCHA. My fastest. Oh wait. My fastest speed forever was 256. Then I got it up to 271 once, and I think it was 271. Um, digits of pi. Okay, fine. I mean that's a typing zone test anyway. Um, typing zone had a test for doing the 200 digits of pi after the decimal point. We didn't type the 3 period, but forum new. They've had a forum since 2009, so I don't know what's new about it. Um, yeah, it isn't new. Um, I mean, I've already done this. Pi to 200 digits. It was the 200 digits after the decimal point. I used to be in the top 10. I fell to 15th. Um, yes, typing zone. Typing zone started in 2002 in its current form, and 1999 in its previous form when it was like an an online thing you downloaded and then you emailed him your results or whatever. But um, digits of pi, fine. I prefer the quirkier one. Oh boy. It adjusted my screen. If it hadn't adjusted my screen, I'd have done a little better. Um, hi. Now I see why there are spaces in the other one. Okay, that's why there are spaces in the other one, because of the weird word wrap. Um, I kind of prefer text-based things too, although I do think TypeDG looks better than a lot of the other um, newer ones. All right, somebody wanted to do me to do 8 values. It doesn't thrill me a lot because I don't know how much I want to share my opinions on everything, but I mean, ultimately it's the same thing when the corporations and governments work together, but whatever. Here's where I'm going to go against my stereotype a little bit. Any tips for typing numbers? Um, I would say you should never even attempt to use your pinky. I do sometimes. Do I use my thumbs? Sometimes I'll use my thumb for the one. But generally speaking, you should spread your middle three fingers out so they're like covering everything so you can get to everything quickly, I think. I mean, some of them, not every single tradition. I feel like some of the things that would have been left wing on this in 2004 would be centrist now. So I think this is going to be saying I'm a lot further left socially than I actually am. Woke up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and I saw your stream. Um, yeah. I'm sorry. I know this was late. I was visiting mom and then my cat Mitty, who you can probably now see here. He's joined us. Um, he was sitting on the keyboard, so I had to wait, and then I took a shower, and then by then it was like 10:30. Um, Libertarian socialism, okay. I mean, I saw myself as basically on the right end of the Bernie Bro coalition, but certainly still part of it, so yeah, that tracks. Um, okay, is there, anything else you want me to do now? Hey, Astro Gaze. Besides English, which other language would you say you are best at typing? I think I am second best at Dutch, and I think the reason for that is because it has no accent marks. Have you read any good books recently, Sean? Okay, I've been reading I've been reading a lot this year. Because I mean it's an hour and a half to get to the nursing home from my house. So yeah, I read both ways most days going when I'm riding the bus. And I've also been reading um, a mystery series by Rita Mae Brown that my mom likes. Um, I've got a all right. I've got a list of somewhere. I've got a list of everything I've read this year. My cat is going to get on the keyboard now, so don't expect me to type anything. Um, I was trying to block him to keep him from getting here, but I'm not going to succeed. Um, um, okay. Okay, this year I read Opposable Thumbs, a book about Siskel and Ebert, Nickel and Dimed by Barbara Ehrenreich, where it's like she was doing Black Like Me but cosplaying as a poor person. How uh, she was an upper middle class professional and one of the heads of the Democratic Socialists of America, but she was also she wanted to see by for herself what living like a poor person was like. What's the Matter with Kansas by Thomas Frank, which I had read once before. The Other America, which was written by Michael Harrington, who was the founder of the DSA, I think. Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. Um, he was a baseball pitcher for the Yankees in the 60s. Um, it was an expose on baseball culture that was like one of the first of the tell-all books. Like he talked a lot about Mickey Mantle being drunk and stuff, and a lot of the awful things the other players were saying. There was a code among the baseball players at that time where nothing that was said in the dugout should be shared publicly. Boughton violated that trust, and he also talked a lot about uh, how baseball teams were exploiting players um, and not paying him enough. That was written just before free agency started, so baseball players were not making a great deal of money, especially compared to now. So he pissed off almost the entire industry with that book. It's pretty great. Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber, The Way of Life by Lao Tzu, The Upswing by Robert Putnam, which was sort of a follow-up to Bowling Alone, which I still consider my favorite book. Social Intelligence, which was a follow-up to Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence, which I also liked. When Smart People Fail, I just read Abundance by Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson. I had mixed emotions about that. I wanted to read that because I was really into the stuff Derek Thompson was writing about the loneliness epidemic. Unfortunately, it seems like it was more like Ezra Klein's book than Derek Thompson's, and I don't like Klein as much as Thompson. And right now, I'm reading The Big Sort, which is about how America became increasingly polarized. I know I read almost entirely political books, and that makes you annoying and obnoxious and insufferable. I know that. Um, what are things you look for when getting a good keyboard, specifically for typing? I don't even know. It's just how it feels to me when I have the keyboard with me. I don't know what I like. Um, I've never read Man's Search for Meaning. No, I'm still not quite I'm still not quite that ambitious most of the time with like classic philosophy and stuff, but I could see myself getting there with some of the stuff I've read lately, like the Lao Tzu. I did read through the entire Brothers Karamazov, for instance. It took me months, but I did love it. Um, have you considered stopping the smoke detector beeping? I know I have a history of not noticing things. It is my autism or whatever. Um, I don't know if I even have a 9-volt battery at the moment to put in that, but yes, that's something I need to think about, and thank you for reminding me. That comment will probably help remind me. He heard the smoke detector beeping in the background, which it has been every several minutes, including before this. Do I normally read majority nonfiction? Yes. I and I read my mom a biography of Leonard Cohen, and I have been reading her a mystery series by Rita Mae Brown that she liked. I read like 9 books in that or something to her this year. Um, but yeah, uh, the thing is, my fiction tastes just aren't trendy now because my fiction tastes especially were aggressively normy and I don't like dark stuff in fiction, I guess, and most of the fiction that gets acclaimed nowadays is like gangster movies, gangster TV shows or stuff. You look at all the stuff that everybody says are like the greatest TV shows of all time, and it's invariably about anything about morally ambiguous characters steadily turning into sociopaths, and it's like my life is dark enough as it is without me wanting to bring that into my life. So the stuff I tended to like is like lighter, fluffier, hangout kind of stuff, and that stuff is like really not trendy anymore. Like most of the stuff I do like in both books and movies and television is is critically acclaimed and stuff, but it's like the stuff I like is the kind of I kind of like the stuff that like the Sundance Film Festival likes or the Oscars like aggressively normie taste. I don't really like edgy stuff, and it seems like that's most of the stuff that's really getting praised nowadays. But I also don't really like the Marvel stuff either. I don't think I've even never seen a comic book movie, which is kind of ridiculous. I like slice of life family stuff, and that's just really not trendy now. Um, so the thing with me in fiction is like I'm into middlebrow fiction, I guess, and the highbrow stuff about about darkness and the seedier stuff of life I'm not into, and I find the lowbrow stuff like special effects, high concept extravaganzas too dumb. So I the stuff I like is not the kind of stuff that would get hyped very much either commercially or critically these days. So I haven't really found what I would be looking for. I'm sure there was lots of stuff I'd like. I just don't know what it is because nobody really talks about it. Um, yeah, I mean, classic literature certainly stands the best of time. Uh, and and if I was looking for something written like before 1950, 1970, 1980 or something, I would probably only mostly go for classics. The group chats annoy me, but it takes me just 1 second to leave the group, so whatever, who cares? Um, what do I enjoy look for in a typing website? Unique texts. Um, what I don't like is repetition, so I did not like 10 Fast Fingers very much. I did not like the basic monkey type tests very much because there is too much repetition. Obviously, there are a lot of things you can do on monkey type that are not repetitive. Obviously, monkey type has quotes too. But yeah, I did not like 10 Fast Fingers very much personally. Um, do I like Linux? I mean, I never really developed as a programmer, as a computer guy like I should have. My boss did just ask me to install Windows Substation for Linux, so I've been looking around it a little, and it's fine. I did a little on the Linux command line. I don't really know much at all, and I still wouldn't say I knew much at all. But it reminds me of DOS. I used the command line in DOS all the time when I was a very little kid in the 90s. And it reminds me of that. I mean, DOS was obviously based on Unix, and so was Linux, so that makes sense. It's fine. I mean, what I would probably like least is Apple, just because of the smugness endemic in the brand. My cat's name is Mitty. My mom named her. I named her him. Him. It's a male. Yeah, I support Palestine as far as that goes, but it's not like there's anything any American scrub could do about it. So I mostly don't think about that stuff much. Type GG is the best website then? Yeah, I like it. I liked it even in the beginning in 2020. Um All right. Do you all know how I could um, how you can add subscriptions and memberships to your channel and stuff? Because that's not something I ever really understood, but that's maybe something I should think about if I'm going to do this more seriously again, which I am thinking about it. Oh yeah, I'm planning on more streams, and I'm planning on starting every stream with a video um, from my childhood. There are still like 4 or 5 more, I think, besides the spelling bee video that I already uploaded, the blockbuster video recording I did a few days ago, the um, Syracuse Pet Search video I did today, and I have something. I have something with my parents when I was a little boy. I have a recording from Christmas of 1991, which is almost an hour. There is a video of me typing from like when I was 5 that I may do. There's a video of me in preschool when I was 4, and the longest and most significant video was a video my uncle recorded when I went down to Washington D.C. in 1994. That might be the next one. I don't know. You can probably do it in your dashboard somewhere. I'd look it up since I've personally never done it, but you should be able to do it since you have a couple thousand subs. Well, I might not be able to do it now because I fell under the um, necessary hours to be allowed for ads. My watch hours fell below whatever I needed to be eligible for advertising, so that might prevent me from doing that either. Although I'm sure I got my watch time up a lot with this. Now you have to be part of YouTube Partner Program to do YouTube Partner Program, which means I would have to get my watch hours up again. Well, I'm thinking about doing more, so maybe my watch hours will be back at some point soon. Although they probably require a lot more subscribers to be part of the partner program than back when it was 1,000 before. It's probably not 1,000 anymore. It's probably like 5,000. I still have 5,000, but but yes, I did want to do all my other YouTube videos, and I wanted to get some more promotion for my Substack. There probably won't be much crossover between people who are interested in my 1,000 Greatest Drivers book and the stuff I already did. I figured they would be more interested in me typing. That's in the typing book. That's why I did the typing book first, even though I came up with the ideas for both books at about the same time in 2017. Um, okay, I think I might get off now unless anybody has any more questions. Yeah, I could add a Patreon. I might consider doing that again. I won't think about it until I'm like more committed and like updating at least a few times a week or every week or something. Do I think I'll go live again sometime soon? Yeah, I think I want to. What I need to do is just replace my time reading random crap with at least something social. I mean, sure, there's just parasocial. This might not be really social, but um, I have been really lonely and depressed and stuff, and my biggest vice has been like reading random crap online, like on Reddit or whatever. I wanna replace that with more active stuff, and this would be a good way of doing that. Um, yeah, I know I inspired a lot of people to start typing, and yes, I race Rectful a lot. Um, oh, can I find? Was it typingrecords.php? I think it might have been. I don't remember what it was. Type Racer Records. Um, all right. I was doing. I did research and calculated my win-loss record against every user I competed against at a certain point, which was insane. I think this was part of the research for my book. Um, so there are people I played a lot. Aaron Adams, I beat 111 to 1. The thing about both of us being so consistent is we're both so consistent that a consistent guy like him can't beat a consistent guy like me when I screw up. And I was 127-31 versus that Izzy account. Anyway, Wreckful. I beat Wreckful 84 times. He beat me once. Oh yeah, and I'm still coming off a virus. As I said in my previous video a few days ago, I had 101.6 degree fever, which is like the highest in my adulthood a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still coughing from that now. Um, so yeah, I wanna rest my voice. Um, okay. Thanks for your participation tonight. That was a lot more than I was expecting, especially starting it so late. I'm gonna get off now. I may still keep talking, but bye.